What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Movie Talks, the only podcast you need for all your movie news, movie reviews, and more. Episode 68. We
Ooh,
are running into it, kind of like the chickens. They are running the chicken run too. Nah,
that's
stuffed it.
okay. That's okay.
Nah, nah. Dawn of the chicken run too. Dawn of the chicken nuggets. We also have Leo, and we also have Yu Hakusho.
Nope.
So, yep, yep,
There's no N in it. Hakusho.
yeah, whatever. I am bad at English, and you expect me to pronounce Japanese names. Nope,
Yeah, you gotta
nope.
like spell it phonetically, which dyslexia does not let you do.
No, 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 it does not. Especially when part of mine is you can't break down the sounds. So
Yeah,
I
which
got
is literally
no.
how like you have to read translations by
Yep.
breaking it into sounds, which you cannot do at all, which is totally fair. No judgment, just
Uh,
observation.
it makes for some hilarity. But yeah,
It does.
it's a fun time. So Boy and the Heron is kind of like the what was that? The Wish for the 3000. You know that movie? We were like, it's coming, it's coming. We'll see it
3,000
soon.
years of longing.
Yeah. We were longing to see that. Remember how it took us forever?
Oh, that's right. That was the joke.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
We sure
So
were longing.
so Boy and the Heron is doing something
Yep.
similar. So we will eventually get there.
But
Um,
now we're on holidays. We can actually go to the movies.
yep, yep. So we're
We'll
gonna
take
go
the
to
kids.
the movies. We're gonna see it. So I'm pumped. The
Hmm.
trailer looks cool. And
Oh, yeah, I'm keen as.
I did watch a couple of Studio Ghibli ones just to re catch myself up, just in case
Okay.
it has a. I know they're
What'd you watch?
standalones. It was Spirited Away. Was the first one I watched, and then I watched a
Yep.
bit of Howl's Moving Castle. I've seen
That
Totoro
was cool.
heaps of times, so I was like, I don't need to revisit that.
Have you seen Princess Mononoke?
Oh, that's the one I've seen the least. Like I saw
My
it
favorite.
years and years ago. I do need to watch that again. I just
Yeah,
haven't.
that's fair.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that and Spirited Away. Howl's is good, but I think it's just visually beautiful. Like the story of Howl's, I'm like, yeah, like, give or take.
Yeah,
Whereas, like, yeah,
the symbolism in Spirited Away, I was like, what does that mean? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to look this up. So I had to look it up.
yeah, I
Uh,
think that's why Spirited Away is so special.
yeah, the no face man or whatever it was, no face
Hmm.
ghost. Yeah,
Hmm.
I still can't understand why it was like, you're a ghost. Come on in. And it was like buckling down. She left the door open. I also don't understand why Japanese traditional places had paper for walls when it rained so heavily. I feel like that's not going to keep the rain out. But these are all random questions I was thinking of when I was watching it, rather
It
than
sounds like a
like,
Tuesday Ramen Rants moment.
yeah. So I don't know. There was many things, but then I was like, they have really big roofs, so I was like, I guess the rain comes down and doesn't actually
Yeah,
hit the roof.
I think those long awnings, because that's like when I picture like establishing shots of classic samurai, I picture those long roofs with the water dripping off the end.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
Random thoughts.
Yep.
Yep. But let's get into movie news. There is some brand new movie news. So we are coming to the end of the year, which means we get a lot of Boxing Day releases, and we're also going to get
Yep.
lots of New Year releases as
Totally.
well. So finally, some big news is going to come out for movies because the writer strike have come to an agreement as well. So
Yeah. We
lots
get
of
more and
things
more.
lots of things are coming back. But to kick it off of the ranks, I do like this IP. It is Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. So this is going to be a
Sure.
new trilogy, and it's set nearly 300 years after Caesar's end. So this
Oh,
this trilogy, no one's going to know who Caesar is. So it's like it's past that sort of like, I guess, peak,
okay.
which
So it's a
I
little bit later where the ape societies have already been established.
yep, yep.
Okay, interesting.
I kind of like that. You know how was it Tim Burton? I think Tim Burton did the one with Mark Wahlberg where he comes in from the future and he like crashes in and he's like with a spacesuit where there was no
Planet
mention
of
of.
the Apes
Yeah, pretty sure he did a
with Mark
movie.
Wahlberg.
Pretty sure it was Mark Wahlberg. I'm pretty quite confident.
Planet of the Apes 2001. Yep.
Yeah, was it Tim Burton?
I do not remember that being um Mark Wahlberg. That's so funny.
Mm.
Yes, Tim Burton. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm wondering if it's kind of like that where someone new will just stumble in and away they go. Because I do like where people come from the future or whatever, and they have to navigate through
Yeah.
alternative.
My only fear there is that's what a lot of them have been at this point.
Yeah.
They need to, if they do that, not that I've seen them all, like admittedly, I haven't seen a heap of Planet of the Apes. They all got kind of boring to me.
Okay.
Even the new ones. Like,
Uh,
stop telling the same story.
I know.
But
I really like apes.
visually,
They're my favorite.
I know you do. That's cool.
Yeah. Do you know the difference between a monkey and an ape?
I mean, yes.
Do you? What is it?
Well, monkeys have tails
Yep.
for one.
Yep. Yep.
One of them, yeah, that's
Yep.
they're like very different animals. But yeah, that one.
Yeah. I always laugh in like Dragon Ball Z where they're like they transform into an ape because
Yeah,
ape has a tail.
only if they have a tail. If they lose their tail, they can't transform into an ape. I know.
Yeah,
How
but
funny.
even like in ape form,
They have big long tails.
mm,
Yeah,
it's so
they're more
confusing.
like monkeys.
Yeah,
But the Japanese monkeys, I don't know how Japanese monkeys work. Is it just a translation thing we call them apes?
might be, might be. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, but
More
yeah,
interesting thoughts with Reimanntv and Lawson.
yeah. But it's just Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm keen for
Yep.
it. 300 years after, brand new trilogy, so there's gonna be three new films.
Uh-huh.
This one took me by surprise. Where I'm a little bit annoyed that it's not his first IP that's getting a movie. So Hideo Kojima has a Death Stranding movie is coming from A24, which is
Yep.
confirmed. I'm annoyed because I want a Metal Gear Solid movie, and
It's too big at this point, man.
it's been rumored for years that it was coming, but I just feel
Where
like
would you
now
where in the
they
story would you want it to be? Sorry.
Shadow Moses. I want them to start at Shadow Moses. For me, that's the most
Just
nostalgia.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you could arguably do it in like story order, where you could do like the original computer games where it was the 2D, or you could just go Metal Gear Solid 3 and have the establishing of like Big Boss, and then the story wouldn't be as confusing when you're making reference to like Big Boss and the clones and everything else. But Solid Snake
Yeah,
is the figurehead, so I'd want them to start
it's
at
true.
Shadow Moses, and
If they
then
start there, it's also where they started the games, right? Am I correct?
not really. So
What
there's
games is Shadow Moses, or is
Shadow
the story you're talking
Moses.
about?
Yeah, Shadow Moses is the PS1 Metal Gear
Yeah, so
Solid.
I'm talking.
Yeah, but there's two games before that which were out on
Yeah,
like
but
computer.
NES and shit.
Yeah, but technically that's what the story is. So that was like Solid Snake's first missions.
Sure.
Yeah,
But like the popularized versions
is
really sort of begun on PS1.
correct.
And
Yes.
if that's sort of your previous knowledge from then, like before that is pretty basic, that
Yeah.
makes sense for a story. Where if they tried doing it chronologically, there's a whole bunch of things that you kind of meant to know from earlier games before
Yeah.
the first moment in the chronological history.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, Death Stranding is a very creative, interesting game. Actually haven't played it. Oh, I've only played like an hour. There's a lot of
Yeah, I
walking.
didn't play it either. I've watched a fair bit of gameplay,
Yeah.
and I sort of understand the basic premise of what's going on with the different realms. Like it's almost like an afterlife coexisting sort of thing.
Mm.
It's interesting. I'm curious to know how they're going to make it a movie, but we'll see.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, most of Kojima's games are kind of like movies, where I think one of his cutscenes was like 50 minutes, like 40
Yeah.
or 50 minutes. Like it was like, all right, well, I'm
Did
just
you see the
watching a
teaser
movie.
for his next game at Game Awards?
No, I haven't yet. I get too confused with what he's trying to release. Like when Death
Yeah.
Stranding was first announced, I was like, I have absolutely no idea. I like to get like a
Yeah.
little bit further down the line where it's like, oh, this is what the kind of game is.
This is more
But
of a tech preview anyway, because it's all it is characters talking to the camera, but in Unreal 5, and it looks insane. It looks like real people. And they're
yeah,
just saying like bits of dialogue.
okay.
That's all it really is to start with. But fuck, it looks if that's what in-game engine looks like, it's beyond.
I've heard good things about Unreal 5.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
But we have a new trailer for If, which finds Ryan Reynolds helping imaginary friends reconnect with kids. So that's
Oh,
another
really?
it's another holiday release for kids' movies.
If
Mm.
it's just called If
If, yeah,
Imaginary Friends IF.
yeah,
Is it in any way connected to the Imaginary Friends TV show, the old cartoon?
I have no idea. I don't know what that cartoon is.
You know the cartoon?
No,
The old
no.
Cartoon Network show. It's fucking great.
Oh, really?
Pretty cute. Yeah.
I remember the toys that used to come alive, and that used to freak me out, being like, well, I'm not in the room. My toys are talking about me.
Oh, like Toy Story in general.
Not so much Toy Story. Remember like Johnson and Friends or something or other it was called? It was like
Oh,
Australian
okay. Yeah,
television,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they were like a little bit creepy looking. And they were like a little bit too lifelike. And it used to creep me out. So every time I'd leave my toy room, I'd be like,
Uncanny Valley.
yeah. I'd be like, what are you guys saying
Look
about
up
me?
the House of Imaginary Friends. That's the Foster's home for imaginary friends.
House
But
of
you know, they
Imaginary Friends.
what's called no Foster's home for imaginary friends.
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. This sounds like
This is the cartoon I'm thinking of, but I
I
don't think.
I never watched it. I never watched it, but I have seen bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. But no, it doesn't look like it's in any way connected. Okay, sure.
When
It's
I
got
search
Steve
for it,
Carell and
it
go on.
does put the Paramount pictures behind the scenes with Ryan Reynolds there for If with Foster's. So don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. Don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't find anything right now. I'm
No.
done looking. Yeah, it's got some big names. I'm looking at the list now.
Yep.
Who's attached to it? Matt Damon, Maya Rudolph, John Stewart. Yeah,
Yep.
John Krasinski, Ryan Reynolds. Uh-huh. Okay. Just
Yeah.
throwing actors in an animated film. Is it animated? Oh
No, I
no,
think
Ryan
it
Reynolds.
live action slash
Yeah,
lots of CGI. Have to be.
sure.
But another big name is Beverly Hills Cop. Axel F trailer brings Eddie Murphy's iconic character to Netflix. So I'm not sure. Is that a TV show? Is it a movie?
Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Formerly
that was
known.
an old
Yeah.
film franchise.
It's
Early
T
Eddie Murphy.
yeah. Well, he's coming back for
Oh, it's
Beverly's.
him again.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
I haven't seen Eddie Murphy do an adult film in quite some time. He's just been doing the kids stuff like Daddy Daycare, Haunted
Yes,
Mansion.
yes.
But now that his kids are a bit older, I guess he can start to do some more adult
We'll
stuff.
see. I still wouldn't be surprised if Beverly Hills Cop was more of a family thing.
Interesting. Weird.
We'll
There's
see.
there's
Some cat
also,
shit in my room.
oh no, just then. There's,
Yes.
oh.
So horrible. I was trying to ignore it, but I really can't.
We've got Kung Fu Panda 4 trailer. Po faces a cunning chameleon in his newest adventure. So they are pounding this franchise.
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, it had a TV
Yeah.
show like earlier this year. So I guess
I've
we'll see.
never really been into them.
Oh, I don't mind the movies. The movies are
I don't
pretty
mind. I
fun.
watched the first, I think I've seen the first one
Okay.
and was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any since. And now you said there's three and a fourth on its way, plus a TV show, right?
Yep. I think and there's two other spin-offs.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
look, it's not expensive animation and they can pump them out and they always do well and they sell a shit ton of toys. So
yeah.
it's smart.
Yeah, and a little bit of sad news. You watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Andre Bragas, I don't know how to pronounce that, dies at age 61. That's a bit sad. He was
Yeah.
Holt, and he was very, very funny with
One
his
of the best characters for sure.
extremely dry delivery.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely a sad death.
yeah. Has this Brooklyn Nine-Nine run its course now? Are they still making
I'm pretty
episodes?
sure. I'm pretty sure they released the final season.
Okay. Because I was like, maybe like will they do a send off or anything like that?
The eighth and final season was in 2021. So yeah, a couple of years ago they
Okay.
finished
Yeah.
the last. I haven't seen the last two seasons, I think.
Okay. I think I've only
I was
seen
a
the
big fan of their initials.
first three or so.
Yeah. I was always a
But
fan. I caught up and then more came out and then I never got around to it.
okay. And Timothy
Charlemagne?
Charlemagne. So
Yeah.
he's done with Wonka and he's now ready for war as the new June Part 2 trailer is out.
Yep.
So
I've seen publicity and stuff for that recently as well.
yeah. And a real
Yeah.
obscure one, but Paddington, the stage of musical, is set to go. So
All
yeah,
right.
Paddington Bear. I like Paddington Bear. If it
Yep.
comes to Adelaide, I'll probably take the kids to see it.
In
Quite
a
like it.
stage musical.
Mm, yeah.
Cool. It'd be
Wait,
cute to see how they do
yeah.
the bear.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a child.
I'm kind of hoping it's a person in a costume.
Mm,
Um,
better be.
I mean, the Frozen one was quite good. We took the kids to see the Frozen one, and you know
Sure.
how it's like true love will break the spell. My daughter yells out, "True love won't save you." Got a good reaction from the
Uh,
crowd.
True love won't save you.
Yeah,
Is that from something, or she's just
no, just
what
threw
the
a comment
hell?
out.
Wow,
I
that's like
was like,
really profound,
where do you get your humor from?
right?
Throw a comment out, see if you get a reaction.
Yep. Hey, it
Yep.
worked. Every now and then you get them.
Yeah. And Studio Ghibli, The Boy and the Heron takes #1 spot at the US box office.
Oh, good.
Hmm. I
I've
mean,
heard nothing about it yet. No one knows he's even seen it.
I've only heard outstanding things about it, but
Right.
that's pretty much just the media hyping it up.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
I did see IGN's review on Rebel Moon, which is coming out
Comes out Friday.
this week. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
they said it's just a stylized mess.
Oh, okay. Fuck.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
IGN.
sick.
IGN for me lost credibility years ago.
Yeah, I've stopped using since we had that. Yeah, you told me about all that and sort of changed my perspective on them a fair bit. I used to like really listen to their
Hmm.
game reviews, and
But
now
now
I don't care.
they like they keep giving CODs like tens, and COD
Yeah,
is shocking.
same shit. I know.
I don't
And the dev
understand.
team are all fucks. Do you see all that drama that came out with the voice of Kratos? And he's like,
Oh, not really.
no, he said he made a joke about um, he had more. His speech was
Oh,
longer
dude, he took
than the
his
current COD campaign,
yeah, he took a dig at
and
him,
then
didn't he?
yeah, it was just a
Yeah,
joke about COD being not much of a game, right?
yeah.
And not much of a single player anyway. And like, yeah, the COD devs are all like on Instagram calling him out and saying that COD's had the highest retention rate out of all the games and shit,
Whoa.
and like all this stuff. And he's like, come on, calm down. It was a fucking one, it was a joke. And two, you're comparing like a huge story quest like God of War to shoot 'em up multiplayer
Yeah. Well,
of COD. Like it's not even a fucking comparison.
God of War also just got a free
Free
DLC.
DLC. Yep. I need to get on that.
Pretty cool. But yeah,
It's a
uh,
roguelike, so it's gonna be just like a dungeon, repetitive dungeon,
okay. I don't know.
but still fun.
Still haven't finished the game.
So good. It's
Yeah,
so
well,
good.
yeah. But let's move on to our first item off the ranks. Our first bit on Netflix. This came out on Thursday. This is
Yep,
a
yep.
adaptation of obviously the manga and the anime, and this is Yu Hakusho. Hakusho? I
Who
could
show?
never. I don't know. I've always just called it Yu. So
Let's just call it Yu.
yeah. So a teenager dies while saving a young kid and is given a chance to be resurrected, provided he works for the spirit world as an investigator of supernatural crimes with his newly given powers. Bom, 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 bom.
Bum, bum,
It
bum.
so it's worth noting that the source they have adapted this from the source material, so it's not a direct copy. So they have changed bits
Yep.
and pieces with it, which I think they've
Cool.
done reasonably well because I don't know that well, anime in itself or manga is very difficult to put onto screen if you're going like,
Yes, live action.
yeah, which I think they learnt really well with One Piece. Like the One Piece adaptation was was
Yeah,
incredible. Like I
yeah.
really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they also have the anime is 112 episodes, so like it's a very
All right.
long running anime, and the anime
Mm-hmm.
came out for it
Oh, it's
was
old.
1992, which is like
Yeah,
around the Dragon Ball Z time as well. So
definitely.
it is one of those big tournament kind of style animes because it builds into it. You wouldn't
Okay.
quite got to where the tournament's coming in. So at the end of episode 3, they're setting up for them going to the tournament.
All right. Damn,
Yeah.
I wish I did watch that extra one then.
Oh,
That's
like
okay.
they're not at the tournament. It's just the bits
A
and
bit more
pieces,
context.
bits and pieces that are moving towards the tournament and coming in.
Yep.
Yep. So
Yep. Yep. That's what I was
this
saying
it.
now, actually.
Mhm.
Sorry, quickly interrupt. Ryman has seen the source material and is a fan, and I knew nothing of it, knew nothing about the story, characters, nothing before watching this live action. So different perspectives there, at least.
Yeah. So I've only seen it once, but I did really enjoy it, and it's always up there for animes that get recommended. So people do
Yeah.
always
Okay.
recommend this.
Looks
Um,
familiar.
yeah, like you probably would have seen it. It's normally called like Yu Ghost Files is what the anime is called. It's
Okay.
yeah, it's widely recommended in the anime community, but this focuses around Yu. So he's portrayed as the delinquent. So he's he's a delinquent. He's always in fights. He's like always known as the big strong um person that is always being challenged. It's kind of one of those setups where Japan has rival school groups because they're all in their school uniforms.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that one we watched? That had the time traveling aspect to it. I can't remember, but that had like the gang, high school gang kind of thingos.
Oh, it's Tokyo Avengers.
Yeah, kind of similar like that. Each school has their own kind of delinquents, but Yu
Yep.
Yu is actually he's kind of one of those guys that is a tough exterior, but is kind of one of those soft guys inside. Like he
Yeah.
looks out for this guy that's always getting bullied and will fight the bullies, but is not like interested in schooling whatsoever. He has his best friend that he grew up with. I always forget what her name is. Kikuro or something. Kiko. I think it's Kiko.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But he is just going about. So the whole first episode is just the setup. So he's setting up how everything works in the world building. He gets hit by a car and dies, but because the turn of events that they couldn't, no one would have predicted him actually sacrifice himself to save someone else. He gets a
Yep.
second chance, and but he must work with for the pretty much like a he's a god. He's a god. So which has
Yeah,
a
well,
he has
it's death
yeah, he has a dummy
in
in his
Western.
he has a dummy in his mouth, and in the anime he looks a bit different, but also kind of similar with this. Like it's a weird design, which in live action it doesn't translate that well. Like it's just
Okay.
it looks odd. But like anime, you kind of expect some weirdness, so it's like
Yeah. Even watching the trailer, the first thing I said was it looks silly
yeah,
because they're adapting an anime, especially 90s anime. 90s anime was fucking weird in its styling and everything. And then to convert that to modern live action, it does look a bit silly at times, but you know,
yeah,
it's anime.
yeah. So he's given a shot, like a deal to be able to be resurrected, but he has to work for death pretty much. He has to work for this guy. He then has to investigate and stop the demons that are coming in. So you get a little bit of like foreshadowing that there's a demon, well, a spirit world and a human world, and then it crosses over, and you see these little bugs that come in and start to like possess people.
Yeah,
Yep. So that's probably the
pretty cool.
first two episodes are like just him dealing with his new powers, getting the world set up. And then
Hmm.
episode three, you actually get to see him training. And then, well,
Oh, cool.
it's not really like spoiler territory, but his best friend gets kidnapped and he has to enter into a tournament because there's the big bads organize the fights. So they want to see the demons fight demons with like the superpowers, and that's where you get to go to the tournament. So he has to fight these people, and it's all about him trying to save the his best friend, but also stop the spirit world merging with the human world, which is
Yeah,
pretty standard anime style.
of course.
This this is pretty heavy in the old CGI. Like there's quite a lot of CGI that is happening, which you kind of has to. I think CGI
Uh-huh.
has finally got to a place where it's like actually looks reasonable rather than just
It's good enough.
yeah. Well, considering how
Definitely.
like how it used to be, where you're like, ooh, that doesn't work. I think
Yeah, it's a similar vein as the like Fullmetal Alchemist movies. It's
mm,
that sort of CG.
yeah, yeah. And then you've
It's not
got
Marvel level, but it's decent.
yeah. I mean, it's a streaming service doing it rather than like
Yeah, that's
your billion-dollar companies.
all I'm saying.
Yeah. You've like the casting choices were pretty good for Yu. I was quite happy with. Uh,
Okay.
his rival, I was like, because he was always like a massive unit in the anime, like one of those big,
Right.
brawny kind of style blokes where he's a little bit too scrawny. He's got the
Yeah,
attitude.
okay.
He's got the attitude and like the grit and determination I quite like.
Okay.
Um, the one choice, the one with the purpley pinky hair, I was like, mm, I wasn't overly sold on that casting.
Oh, the yeah, right. Right, right,
Yeah,
right. Uh Kurama?
yeah. So Karama's kind of cool in the anime, but I was like, didn't really
Yeah.
sell it. The
Anime hair doesn't translate to human very well.
no no, and then you've got I always forget his name, but he's like a powerhouse in the anime. The um dark hair, and then uses the special knife to open the third eye.
Have I seen this character yet?
He comes in episode three where he's got the
EA?
yeah, so he's got the knife.
Is that
Is
it's
cool.
pronounced? I don't know.
Yeah. So like it's reasonable. It's reasonable. Episodes go for about 50 or 55 minutes a piece. I don't know they have to do a second season. Like there's no way they're going to fit 112 episodes of the anime into just five
Mm.
the five
Well,
episodes.
that's a question. If you remember, I'm not sure if you can recall, but how far have we already traveled in the anime in the first three episodes of the series?
Uh I mean, majority of the anime is around the tournament. So like,
Okay, it's only like the first few episodes.
yeah. So
Sure. Okay.
like you got a
Okay.
bit to go. So I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but like I enjoyed it. I wasn't
Yeah.
like blown away that I was with One Piece. Like One
Yeah.
Piece, I was like real around. I thought they captured the environment. I thought they captured the fun of One Piece.
Uh-huh.
Where this was good. It was good. It just wasn't like the next level that you kind of want. But I don't know if it's like I really enjoy One Piece. I did enjoy Yu, but it's not like one that I'd revisit. Like I don't know
I
where
think
it
the difference
is.
between the reason that One Piece gets away with all that a lot more is just because it is a comedy. It is kind of a silly anime, whereas this takes itself quite seriously and is trying to create, quite edgy and badass moments. And I think that silly anime translates much better when you're trying to do live action goofiness, because anime is always going to look goofy as live action. It's same with Full Metal Alchemist. I think that a lot of the characters came across as just like very comical and silly, cringy at times. I think there are moments in this as well where main character Yusake, whatever his name is, when he is pulling these faces like and he's looking all edgy and like rubbing his face and pulling, and he just comes across like really cringy and stupid, because that's a very anime face to make, but he's a real person. He just looks silly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fine.
And I think that I can't pinpoint all the changes, but like I think the changes they did make sense so that it actually is coherent. Like I think they did quite well with it. It flowed. Like I will watch the remaining two episodes because I quite like it. I don't know. It was missing a little bit, but I think that's probably to your point that it was going for that seriousness rather than some comical aspects.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but overall, fight scenes are actually quite well choreographed. Like there's in episode 3, it actually gets much better with its fight scenes when they're actually in the training part, and you get to see some of the powers that are coming. So it, yeah, it's good. It's good. For me,
Yeah.
it's like a 3.5.
Okay. I think that's fair. Yeah. I need to watch more, but the fact that I want to watch more makes, obviously it's a good thing. I
Yeah.
like a 3 so far. It's good enough to want to keep watching, but either from this point on, either it becomes more cringy and I care less about it, and it makes me just laugh, or it becomes like pretty interesting and pretty cool. So
Yeah. I do
I
like
need to
that
watch more.
I do like that we're at a point in time where anime adaptations are actually getting better. Because like you look at
Yeah.
the previous ones, they are
Oh
god
yes.
awful.
Uh-huh.
Like Netflix first attempt at Death Note. Wow. Wow.
The the English one. Yeah.
Yeah. Horrible.
They totally butchered the story of it as well.
Yeah. They're normally really, really bad. So they're getting quite good
Death
now.
Note would be so easy. Sorry, it just pisses me off. I feel like Death Note is such like it's more of a grounded. It's like the anime not made for anime people. It's such a grounded story with a little bit of fantasy. It'd be perfect for live action, yet they just keep fucking it.
I would love Code GS. I reckon that would be incredible as a
That'd be
live
cool.
action. Have you seen
Yeah,
Code GS?
I have only once. I watched it on Melbourne trip once
Yeah, I
back in the
love Code
day.
GS. It's so good. I've watched it a
That's a
couple of
time
times.
travel one, yeah. Oh, I'm thinking Steins Gate. No, I haven't seen Code
Oh,
Geass.
Code GS is
Nope,
great.
sorry.
It's kind of like Death Note, but with the twists and turns and the political side, but with mechas, like a
Okay,
bit more of a grander scale rather than him just killing people.
okay. Yep. Sorry, I got
Hi,
myself confused somehow between Steins Gate and Code Geass.
yeah, highly recommend it. Also, English voice is the voice of Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach. Also, the Black Power Ranger from the
Yep,
space one.
your favorite.
I reckon he's the greatest voice actor. Yeah. So
Did
yeah.
you watch Yu in English, by the way?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't mind it
It was pretty
because
good.
they actually had anime voice actors
Yeah.
rather than just the voice actors from fucking or the
It's
ones that we were watching, fucking the Physical 100 and
all the
shit.
Korean ones where they get the same three people.
Yeah, no joke.
uh, all right, we'll move on to our next one.
Give you it.
Chicken Run. It's not even called Chicken Run 2. It's just called Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. But I feel like
Yes,
it should have two in there. It is the second film. I've always called it
I
Chicken
do
Run
agree.
2. So it's
Yeah, same.
Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. I got to do a disclaimer. I didn't really like Chicken Run 1. Like,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I've never really been a big fan of it. Like, it wasn't bad. Just, I've never really ever liked it. It's just
I guess I'm similar then. I never thought it was good. I
okay.
never like thoroughly enjoyed it, but I don't mind it. It's, has a few funny moments here and there, and
Yeah.
I've always loved the animation.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of
But
those things.
I wasn't excited for this. I don't think anyone's asking for a number two, but
I think lots of people
yeah,
are. So many people have been like pumped as like
really?
yeah, like all week people like Chicken Run's coming out. They're
All
like,
right.
"Do you see Chicken Run's coming out?" I'm like, "Yes, it comes out Friday."
Who? We're from very different circles because no one I know is
Oh,
talking about this.
yeah. But last week of school, all the kids were talking about it. Lots of the staff were talking about it.
Really?
They were all pumped for it, and I was like, "All right, cool.
Shit, I don't think anyone, not even students, were talking about this in my world.
Wow, okay,
How interesting. Okay.
yeah." So, having pulled off an escape from Tweeny's farm, Ginger has found a peaceful island sanctuary for the whole flock. But back on the
What
mainland, that was a chicken.
was it?
Yeah, was it not?
Sure it was. Yeah.
No.
No,
Oh, yours is way better than mine. Mine's like a
I was copying you.
yeah, mine's like being stepped on. But back on the mainland, the whole chicken kind faces a new threat, and Ginger and her team decide to break in. All right. So,
Yep.
yep. Ginger and the flock have moved across the river and have started their own colony, and they're a
Hmm.
thriving race of chickens.
Sure are.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So she has a baby named Molly.
Molly.
Yep. Which is voiced by Bella Ramsey, which we
Sure is.
know from. Was
Game of
she
Thrones and
last?
Last of Us.
That's the one. Yep. So she's a rebellious child, kind of how she
Yep.
is in the other two as
I know.
well. Yep. Funny. Hopefully she realizes that she might be typecast now. But
Yeah, she was as soon as she was in Game of Thrones and played that like no nonsense child.
yeah. So who knows? This Molly is a bit of a rebellious kid and wants to, go off and do everything by herself and explore. She explores and then is taken in by the company, and then all of a sudden, Ginger and the rest of the crew have to go in and save her. So it's kind of running very very similar with some few minor changes to the original story, where instead of having to break out, they have to break in this time.
Yeah, it's running a
Yep.
very similar story to like Toy Story 2 and 3
Yep. Yep.
and a lot of other like I'll say now the animation is gorgeous,
Mm-hmm.
but once you pass that and maybe sound, once you pass that, it's such a generic, like very, very unexciting story, which is upsetting because I don't know, I wanted a bit more from this. I feel like they could have so much more fun. The sets and that were great, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, now that we're on the story right now, it just felt like many stories I've seen before. It felt like Toy Story 2. Character
Yeah.
goes this new and scary place. Other characters come to rescue them. They get themselves out. Then they have to, you know, they have to revisit and go back in, save somebody else, or get everybody else out. They have a choice between saving themselves or everyone. It's just the same thing.
Mm-hmm. With a few bits, few giggles here and there. There
Yeah,
is there is a little bit of nostalgia because lots of the old characters appear. I was I was kind of I don't know. I'm not sure if upsets the kind of the word for it, but like seeing the villains that were coming in, I was like, oh, okay. Like,
like Tweenie.
yeah, I was like,
Is that her name?
yeah, I was like, oh, cool. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm glad.
I don't know what I wanted from this. Like, I honestly don't know. I think not being a big fan of the original, it was like, okay, I'll watch it to see what everyone's all hyped about. But animation, the first 40 minutes, I actually didn't mind. I was actually pretty reasonably engaged in the first 40 minutes. And
Hmm.
then when they went to the facility, I was like,
Yeah, okay.
okay, cool. I don't care from here. And I was like, the last 50 minutes, I was like, let's move on. Let's go. Oh, here comes the
Yeah,
setback. Oh, there it is. Cool. Watch this.
yeah.
And it just repeated. And even my kids, like you can tell how engaging a story is by how it captivates a kid's attention. Like they started getting restless about the same time I did.
Okay, good.
I was
I
like,
actually
no,
love hearing the perspective of your kids because that this is made for them more. Well, not really. It's more a family movie, I guess. But I always wonder how pacing goes with kids. So good to know.
yeah.
I got
So
bored.
they got bored and then they started like doing all sorts of different things, like started coloring in, started I think my son went and shot the basketball for a while and then came back and was like, oh, okay. Then sat down for a little bit and then went off and did something. I went and like started making like lunch and dinner and stuff. I was like, oh,
Right. Okay.
don't have to pay that much attention. Like it was on, it was okay. I wasn't really attached to any of the characters either. Like I feel like if you were a fan of the
No.
original, you'd be like more inclined and like I don't know.
Yeah. There was a
l-
level of because I've seen. It sounds like I've seen the original more than you, and like I could watch this and be like, oh yeah, that character. Yeah, the character's cool. Oh, cute. I'm glad with these characters. Like when you see Ginger with all her friends and they're on their scenes where it's not about Molly and the other Fletcher, whatever her name was, the other girl. Um, they feel Frizzle, the other girl. They felt those moments with those old characters felt really fun because I knew the characters, but a lot of the jokes they were relying on you knowing the original. Like literally one of the jokes to everyone who likes the first movie, and one of the most quotable lines is, "I don't want to be a pie. I don't like gravy." And that's one of those jokes that everyone knows from the movie. And the first time that we even interact with that character, which is Babs, um, she says, "I don't want to be." I wrote it down. I don't want to be in any fray. I'm fray phobic.
mm,
They said we have to go into the fray. Like her first line is referencing her best line in the first movie. It made my eyes roll so fucking hard. Like they're relying on nostalgia for a lot of the jokes, and that's eh.
yeah, yeah. Look, I don't know. I don't mind Rocky. I feel like Rocky is my favorite out of all the characters. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
it's I just like Zach Levy, but I don't know.
you replaced fucking Mel Gibson. Bring Mel Gibson back. I don't care if he hates Jews and hates the rainbow people, and he is a huge racist, and he called his wife the N word. I do
Yeah.
care. I care a lot. I'm so glad he's not in this. It's just funny.
What? You
What?
went all around the place then.
Mel Gibson was the original voice of Rocky,
Yeah, yeah. I like
and
Zach
then
Levy.
yeah, I do. I'm just saying that you can tell why they didn't use Mel Gibson in this. Like he's not dead. It's just he's he's not being hired for anything anymore.
No.
He went sort of crazy.
Yeah. But it's okay. Like the entire film is okay.
Yeah, I,
Like
I want to go into the animation.
mhm.
It's fucking awesome. I love this sort of stop motion. Like you can see the fingerprints of the animators on their clay, on their skin. I love that so much. I'm constantly reminded that these are little figures. Netflix did this 20-minute documentary on YouTube where you can see like the making of. And the fact that they can use real world objects for objects in the background, and the characters interact with things from our world, and it's just constantly a reminder that this is like hand done animation. I love this sort of animation. That to me was enough. Like I would recommend this to people just to say the animation is so fucking sweet. It is like the world building, and I love the sets and everything. I love the facility, how it feels like an evil lair, and like all the little like yeah, it's just because it's human scale. The other game was like at chicken scale. The other game, sorry, other movie was chicken scale, and this whole thing is at human scale because they're in a human world rather than being in the chicken world for most of the movie. It adds so many like levels of complexity. Yeah,
Mm,
the animation and the sound, the music is amazing.
yeah.
So good.
How long did this take to make though? Like stop motion, especially clay. Like how long would this take? So you've got on average 24 frames per second. Like this would be years, surely.
Yeah, I'm trying to find anything out, but it is years. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And just like making every single like prop and bits and piece that they use, like it'd be
Uh huh.
insane.
Oh, it's huge.
And like just the amount of clay would be
A single puppet took between 30 and 50 weeks for a crew to work on. That's just the creation of the puppets, not even the animation.
wow.
It's huge. It's a huge undertaking, but that's part of why I love it. In that documentary, you hear the director talk about inch by inch. Like sometimes they make such slow progress, but there's only one way to do this properly, and that is slowly.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's like visually, I love this so much. I had a biggest smile on my face for the first half, but once you pass that barrier of like being super engaged by the animation and the story has to try and keep you interested, it becomes very boring very quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the end, I actually celebrated the credits, you know.
Yeah, right. What would you give it then?
Um, I want to give it a 3, but I'd still recommend it. I recommend it more than Yu. I think just visually,
Okay.
it's like really, really, really nice. But I did get bored,
Yeah.
and that's never a good thing. I'd rather be bad than boring.
Yeah. Like, nah, I think it's a three. Like it's
Yeah,
okay. I just don't have the attachment to it. I feel like if you have any attachment to the first one, you're probably going to enjoy it. Like it runs,
yeah,
you got the characters, you got you got all of that.
and the jokes are written for you a little bit more if
Yeah,
you like the original.
yeah. Like
I'm a raiser. I think 3.5. I think there's a lot of credit to give the just the animation and the little figures and the world and everything. I think that
okay,
within itself deserves a little bit more. So I'm gonna go 3.5.
okay, fair, fair, it's fair. Yeah, three for me.
Three, that's fair.
Yeah. Well,
But
we
did I
move.
like it more than the next one? That's a tough question.
Oh, okay. So we're moving on to our other animated film on Netflix and another family film. It is Leo, which
Hmm.
is a Sandler production. And Adam
Yep.
Sandler, he also is the voice of Leo. And
Hmm.
this is about a 74-year-old lizard named Leo and his turtle friend decide to escape from the terrarium of a Florida school classroom where they have been living for decades.
Yep.
This
Squirtle is this turtle,
is Bill
voiced
Burr.
by Bill Burr.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I think Bill Burr was he in something else recently too? Not like
Yeah, we
his
were.
not his movie, but like another.
Oh,
I feel like he was another voice of something.
was he?
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't
No
know,
idea.
but doesn't matter. So we have Leo and Squirtle live in the terrarium in the classroom. Their teacher is going on maternity leave,
Yep.
and there is this weird scene. I laughed quite a lot where she was like taking the food from the kids. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, what's she doing? And then it sort of clicked that she's pregnant.
Yeah,
She got cravings.
she's
So
got
yeah, she's walking around
great.
the room just picking up kids' sandwiches out of their lunches and eating it while she's talking to them.
This has got a lot of sort of subtle visual humor in the actual film. Like throughout, there's just
Yeah.
it's quite fun watching them like go about
Yeah.
bits and pieces.
That's where it shines.
That's that subtle humor.
Hmm.
So the teacher is going out on maternity leave, so they have to report to all the parents. This was a weird turn where the parents have this random as like
Yeah.
outcry where they're like, "Have you got it? Are you sure? Have you been tested?" And like, I was like, "What?
I
She's
know.
clearly pregnant. I was so confused about that scene. I don't know if that was like a
And
meant
how they're
to.
upset with this teacher who comes in who's very regimented and he obviously has a lot of control in a classroom and prioritizes learning almost too much is unfun. But I don't know why the parents are so mad at this teacher for coming in. Like, makes no fucking sense.
No,
Didn't to me anyway.
there was a whole weird turn. Like there's some of the humor does not hit. Some of the humor is like so bizarre that you're like, that's just doesn't fit the tone that you were going. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if it was going for shock factor or it was going for that like just out of the blue sort of here's a laugh kind of.
Yeah. I mean, you connected it to any other Billy, like I was gonna say Happy Madison production, any other Adam Sandler movie, there is that level of like trying to be a little rude, trying to be a little crass, and that's the joke.
Yeah. Yeah, but
A little less subtle.
I guess so. So the new teacher comes in and then is trying to teach responsibility by taking a class pet home. So Leo gets picked to go home, and
Yep.
it's kind of fun seeing Leo interact with each of the kids. So each of the kids
Yeah.
has to take Leo home, and it turns into him talking to them. And then
Yeah. Because
about
Leo's
like,
been in and out of classrooms for 75 years,
yeah,
74 years. So he knows lots and he's super wise. And he goes back to their house and tells them how to live their life and how to be a better friend.
yeah. And then you can see them all getting along, striving for to be their best. There is this weird like songs where some songs go for like the full time.
Yep.
Other times songs like go real short, and then other times they like start, stop, start, stop. Like it
Look,
was so bizarre. I got over the
the
songs
songs,
real
yeah, the songs
quick.
were god awful. The first one, I was like, this isn't horrible. It's kind of cute. And then every single song, as soon as they started, my eyes rolled so quick.
I
I
didn't
watched
mind
this.
I didn't mind the second one though. The second one where it was the kid with the drone, where it was like, I need to learn to wipe my own butt.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, these are the type of songs you're gonna get. And then it didn't follow that vein. Like they weren't fun songs, they were just
No,
songs in there for song's sake.
they tried to create like you said earlier, when this is, just like bunch of punchlines, little goofy moments with characters, little subtle things in the background, and little like, little things that parents might notice over the kids. That's when this is strong. That's when this is not a bad movie. But when it's trying really hard to be a soppy, heartfelt, oh, look at these kids and look how much this lizard is impacting them, and oh, he's such a beautiful soul. When it's trying to do all that, it's fucking cringy and bad.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
And I asked you, did you
Mhm.
watch this with your kids? I forgot what your reply was.
Yep, yep. So we watched
Okay.
watched this on Friday night. Friday night, and then we watched Chicken Run yesterday afternoon.
Yep.
Yeah. So Leo, we had quite a good time with. Like we were laughing at it. It was kind
Yep.
of you had that sort of Shrek level where it's got the humor in it for adults, but it's also
Yep.
got
Accurate.
the stuff in it for the kids. Where Chicken Run
Mhm.
didn't really get many laughs from like anyone. Where this got more laughs. Like there was quite a bit of
Yeah.
humor. But
Yeah.
then weirdly last night I started watching Good Burger 2 because Carmen Electra comes
Oh
back
wow.
and does her Roxanne uh character, and I was like, I like Carmen Electra, so I was like, I want to see that
Sure.
scene.
Uh-huh.
But like the kids were laughing more at that, but that's more like slapstick humor, like Keenan and
It
Kel,
is. Yeah.
and
It's
like
Three Stooges.
yeah, they were laughing a lot at that. Where this they laughed and enjoyed it. I got over it towards the end. I feel like
Yep.
instead of three acts, they kind of ran more of like a four act. It was weird. Like they tried to. So you've got Leo establishing himself, going with the kids all achieving, going really well. Then you have the setback. Then you have the teacher. You find about the teacher. The teacher stitches Leo up. Then they have to go on a rescue
Yep.
mission. And then I was like, that whole rescue mission felt bizarre. It was kind of I got over it at that point. I was like,
Yeah, Act Three was like, come on, come on, come on,
yeah,
like almost like tried doing like a double climax. Yeah,
yeah. I was like, oh, let's move on a little bit.
yep. I was definitely over it towards then as well.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
I just wasn't sure what the go was there. But like until then, it was like it was okay. Like I was enjoying it up until Act Three, and I just
Yeah, elements. I think there were enough little scenes that made me want to watch more. Like, in they just feel like they got less and less and less as the story went on. Like the beginning, the first act, I was because I watched this at work with a theater of probably about 100 kids,
yeah
100 year sevens, 12-year-olds. So I sat there, and the whole beginning, I just sat and watched, super into it. By the time I was probably halfway through Act Two, probably midway through the movie, I started losing interest. And in Act Three, it was just again, it was going through the motions. It was just a typical here's the black moment. Oh no, okay, look, oh, everything's gone wrong. They're never going to rescue him now. Oh, look at that, they rescued them.
yeah
And then happy ever after. Like it hit all the beats that we expected it to hit. And of course it's going to. It's a fucking family movie.
yeah
But by the end, I was super out of it. And so were the room full of year 12s,
okay.
three year 12s, the room full of 12-year-olds. It like that every time the song started, they went, like this huge moan throughout the whole theater. 100 year sevens do not like the amount of songs in this. I feel like they're the perfect age. You 12-year-olds. This is like this is the age for this is for you. If they're not enjoying elements of it, that's pretty telling.
Yeah. So yeah, I got restless. The kids got restless in that Act Three part. But other than that,
Yep.
we enjoyed it. Like we enjoyed it more
Yeah.
than Chicken Run 2. Like it's better. But yeah, the songs kill it. The double climax kills it.
I don't think it's
And
better than Chicken Run 2.
mm,
I
enjoyment
think
level, we had more enjoyment.
uh okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely didn't enjoy it as much. I
Okay.
just because of the animation in Chicken Run, I enjoyed it way more.
Okay.
I had a bigger smile on my face. This made me chuckle a couple of times, and then it just felt like every other boring family movie.
Fair. Fair. Yeah. For me, it's a three. Like I'd recommend it to families. Be like, it's pretty funny.
I recommend it to families. Like I
Yeah.
think if you're sitting there with your kids and you're watching it, it's like, yeah, it's a decent enough watch that you can get something out of it. But I still don't think it's good. It's like a 2.5.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it follows the same form as everything else right now. The animation was nothing special. Like it looked like Illumination.
Okay.
Um, some of the jokes were fine, but it just became like it gave me that sick feeling that Chris's Hallmark movies give me, like that just fucking yuck. Like this is so intentionally perfect, you know. Like look at this character and look the way he interacts with people. And there's so many fucking plot holes and shit. Like once you start pulling it apart, it's like just because it's a kids movie doesn't mean it gets a pass, you know.
True. True.
So in
True.
my eyes, it's like you know what, two, not 2.5. It's a
Okay.
two.
Nice. Well, next week we got a pretty stacked lineup. We're going to be seeing The Boy and the Heron. We're going to also see Zack Snyder's new one, Rebel Moon, which is out on Netflix, and a little Christmas film called The Family Switch Up, which is Jennifer Gardner, who actually does another body switch movie. Or so, well, this would be a first body switch one where the other one she just went back in age. So
Or forward in age.
forward in age, yeah, whatever. Same.
Yeah,
So
this looks bad.
yeah.
But whatever.
Oh
It's
well,
Christmas.
yeah. So that's what we got in store. Pumped for it, and let
Hell
us
yeah.
know. Join the Discord. Follow Lawson on Letterbox,
Yep,
and
yep.
yep,
Lost MTP. One word.
we'll see you guys next time. What we do ask is that you tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
See
You
you.
love yous.
Bye.